Hello friends, my name is Dalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In this episode of Recap, we will be talking about important reports and indices. Other than that, there are various episodes which has been uploaded since 21st of December and we will be doing so till 29th of December so that we can have a quick and concise revision for all the developments which has happened in the past few weeks. Okay. Now these developments, this revision will be important for your examination. So do watch all these videos if you have not done it already. Okay, and the timing for the, you can say, upload of this video will be around 9 p.m. in the evening. So please keep a tap on that. Now let's start with this particular episode wherein we'll be discussing major indices and reports. Now why indices and reports are important? Because these are giving you idea about various parameters or various aspects of, be it economy, polity, be it science and technology, be it your artificial intelligence or the freedom of press, etc. So we will be going for a concise revision of all these reports and indices over here, which are important for UPSC. Okay, so let's start with the first one, global risk report. With the name, it is clear that it is talking about the risk. Now, what is risk? Risk is something. If there is an event which is probable and when it happens, there is some kind of negative impact on the various parameters. When we are talking about this particular report, they are talking in the terms of GDP, they are talking in the terms of you can say environment, etc. Social, political, environment, cultural aspects they will be covering. So that is what is risk. Okay, so it is released by World Economic Forum, WEF. Okay. Now, this report is based on the survey of nearly 1500 experts, industry leaders and policymakers. So basically they are going for the talk with the various stakeholders and then they will be coming up with this particular report. Okay, various global events including conflict, extreme weather events, social unrest and have contributed to a predominantly negative outlook for 2023. Now, according to this particular report, 2023, the last year, has a negative outlook. Okay, obviously the whole year they will be looking at and then they will be giving a picture of it. So that is why we are studying about the 2023 year. Okay, so basically they said that the 2023 year was a negative year in outlook. So why is that? Because there are various geopolitical situations which were there. We have seen that there was this Israel-Hamas war was there since October. Other than that, Russia-Ukraine conflict was there. Other than that, when we are talking about the Red Sea issue was there. So considering that, it has a negative outlook. Other than that also, if you look at the climate change related aspect or the environmental aspect, this year was having a negative outlook. Okay, so AI powered misinformation and disinformation is emerging as the most severe risk. Apart from, if you look at the long term, okay, so environmental aspects are giving you more risk. And if you are looking at the immediate threats, so for the next 2 years, the AI powered misinformation and the disinformation will be the most or you can say a severe risk for us. Okay, why is that? Because of the misinformation, etc., what is happening is that they are kind of controlling the political aspect as well. Now, if you are talking about the misinformation or disinformation, they will have an impact on the electoral campaigning as well. Okay, now considering that they are indulging with the some kind of practices which are not very good for the democracies. Okay, so considering that, otherwise also when we are talking technology, so there are some risks which are attached to the technology. Now coming to what is global risk, we have already seen that global risk is defined as the probability of an event or condition occurring that, if it occurs, would have a negative impact on a significant portion of the global GDP, population and the natural resources. So basically they are focusing on the three things: GDP, natural resources and the population. Okay, so if you are talking about the population, so you are basically considering the socio-political aspect as well. Okay, so if there is an event, if it is happening and if it is having a negative impact, that is called as the global risk. Okay, now we have already seen that this report is being published by the World Economic Forum. Okay, now here you can see under this recent report, they have said that for the next 2 years, there are certain threats which are there. And the most severe threat is misinformation and disinformation because of the AI. Okay. Other than that, extreme weather events, societal polarization, cyber insecurity, interstate armed conflicts, lack of economic opportunity, inflation, voluntary migration, economic downturn and pollution. These are some of the risks which are there in the immediate term, or you can say for the term of 2 years. Now, if we are talking about the 10 years term, or you can say long term vision, if you look at, so you will be seeing that most of these threats are, you can say, environmental in nature. Okay, extreme weather events, critical change to the earth system, biodiversity loss and ecosystem collapse, natural resources shortage, etc. So here you will be seeing that these are mostly related to environment. Okay, now coming to the next part over here, that these two are related to the technology. One is related to your misinformation and disinformation because of the AI, and other is related to the adverse outcome of the AI technologies itself. Okay, so here there are two important threats which are there in front of you. One is your environment okay, because of the climate change. Second is the technological advancement which is happening at a very fast pace and we are not able to regulate it, okay. So these are the two threats which has been talked about by this particular report. Now here if we are talking about the overall report and if you access the various parameters, you will be seeing that first, the world will be witnessing economic strain, okay, because of the inflation, because of the the geopolitical situations which are leading to the you can say life expectancy which is going lower. Other than that, also standard of living is being declining in the countries like you can say in the areas like Syria, etc. So that is their cost of living crisis, that is cost of living is increasing. Second thing is the digital isolation will be there, okay. Other than that, also inflation will also be a one factor over here. Second is the structural forces. If you are talking about the long term things, so climate change, demographic bifurcation, technological acceleration, geostrategic shift, these are some of the structural forces which will be impacting the you can say risk in the global scenario. Now if we are talking about the climate change, we know that. If we talk about the geographic bifurcation, that means that geographic divide, okay. When we are talking about the populations, there is, because of the various identity crisis or otherwise, also there is a divide which is happening over there. Other than that, also if we are looking at the census related terms, there are certain countries which are basically growing old. There are certain countries which is having a demographic dividend. So that kind of bifurcation is there, okay. Then moving for the technological advancement, which we have already seen, and geostrategic shift with respect to the international relations. Now coming to the next one, environmental risk. We have already seen the climate change. We have seen that there will be biodiversity related losses, extreme weather events will be there. Moving further, security related risk, interstate armed conflicts. Now when we are talking about the recent conflict which is there, when we are talking about the Lebanon and Israel, that is interstate, okay. Other than that, if you are talking about the non-state actors, so recently you must have seen Syria, okay. Other than that, also you must have seen areas like you can say, when we are talking about these axis of resistance which is there with respect to the Hamas, Hezbollah and Houthis, okay. So these kind of non-state actors are also there. Other than that, when we are talking about the non-state actors, one important threat is terrorism, which is also there. Now moving further, AI powered misinformation, generative AI, chatbot, and the election manipulation, we have talked about that. And geopolitical shifts which are there because of the global north and south divide which is there, and the influence of the global south. Influence of the global south is increasing because countries like India, which are basically becoming pioneer of the global south. Other than that, also there are various geopolitical situations right now we are facing. Russia-Ukraine war is there. Other than that, when we are talking about the Israel related issues, we can say that Israel-Hamas war is there, Israel-Hezbollah war is there. And when we are talking about the recent incidents in Syria, okay, other than that, in Bangladesh, we are witnessing various turmoils, okay. So that is geopolitical shifts. Now this is about the global risk report. Now we can move further. Before that, there is this World Economic Forum which is actually releasing this particular report. So here you can say Swiss non-profit institution. These are certain facts which are related to the World Economic Forum. So it is a Swiss non-profit institution. It was founded in 1971, Geneva, Switzerland, recognized by the Swiss government as an international institution for public-private cooperation. And the founder of this particular, you can say, forum was Klaus Schwab, okay. You can remember this. Other than that, World Economic Forum comes with these reports over here: Energy Transition Index, Global Competitiveness Report, Global Gender Gap Reports, Global Travel and Tourism Report, Global IT Report, okay. So these are some of the reports which are basically put forward or published by you can say World Economic Forum. Now before moving further, we are offering you ISGS foundation courses in offline mode at our centers, that is Prayagraj, Lucknow, Noida, Jaipur, Karol Bagh, Indore, okay. So you can visit the centers and get enrolled, or you can call on this number which is given over here, 87501 87501, okay. Now let's move further and start with the second report, that is World Economic Situation and Prospect Report. Now with the report, it is clear that they are talking about the economic situation, okay. So we will be talking about the GDP, we will be talking about the inflation, we will be talking about the food inflation. These aspects we will be covering, okay. Now this particular report is being published by United Nations, okay. So that is important thing because this is a very important organization. So reports which are published by United Nations or its you can say institution within it, that will become important for us, okay. Now they are talking about the global GDP growth is projected to be declining from 2.7 in 2023 to 2.4, okay. So here you can see it is 2.7 in 2023, it is declining to 2.4. That is talking about the global GDP over here, okay. Now when we are talking about the India's growth rate for 2024, that was projected as 6.2%, okay. So that is one of the data which is important. We have only covered those data which are important for you. Okay. Now, global inflation 2022 was around 8.1%, which has declined to 5.7%, and other than when we are talking about the projections, that is 3.9 for 2024. Okay. Now we are saying that the inflation is declining. So this report says that when we are talking about the GDP related prospects, we will be seeing that there will be a decline. Global GDP decline will be there. India is doing fair enough. We will still be a fastest growing economy. Other than that, when we are talking about the inflation related aspects, so inflation will be declining, but there is challenge related to the food inflation. There are warnings that food inflation might rise. Okay. Though the overall inflation is declining, food inflation might rise. Okay. So that is what has been written over here. Here you can see that there is the forecast that decline in the global inflation in 2024. Warning of simultaneous rise in the food inflation will be there. Okay. Now moving further, global investment growth is expected to be remain low. Now when we are talking about the global investment, that will be low because there are various factors which are responsible over here. When we are talking about the geopolitical scenario, if there is situations of war, so obviously you will be seeing that there will be a decline in trade. Okay, trade and investment, etc. So we are saying that there is uncertainty in the global sphere. That is one thing. Second, you will be seeing that there are economic uncertainties because of this particular factor only. Okay. Then moving further, high debt burden, which there are countries like Sri Lanka, Maldives, etc. They are having high debt burden. Okay. And because of which what will happen is their economies will not be able to perform better. Then rising interest rates, which is there. Then coming to the next one, developing economies are struggling to recover from the pandemic induced losses. After COVID, there are various economies which are not able to revive back to the original path. Okay. So that is there, with many facing high debt and the investment shortfall. Now, as I told you that if the economy is not doing well, that means that other countries might not be interested in going and investing in that particular economy. Let's say if we are talking about the Sri Lanka is a debt ridden economy right now. Okay. So there are high chances that the countries like USA, etc., they will not invest into Sri Lanka. Though India is a good partner and we are investing over here because we have interests. Okay. So that is why, that is one of the factors which is over here. Now it is anticipating that many of the low income and the vulnerable nations will experience only moderate growth. Okay. So that is one thing. The reasons are persistently high interest rate, accelerating geopolitical conflicts, slow international trade, and increase in the climate related calamities. So we have already seen that these factors, because in the last report as well we have talked about all these factors. Now factors are same, only the parameters they are working for, they are different. Okay. Now if you look at this particular diagram over here, you will be seeing that South Asia will be still performing better. Okay, so this green part is talking about the growth in okay, you can say the GDP in percentage. So South Asian region will be performing better than the other regions. Okay. Now moving further, here we have ASER report that is related to education, annual status of education report 2023. The theme is beyond basics. Okay. Now when we are talking about this ASER report, that is basically working on the quality of the education. They are trying to look at the quality of the primary education in India. So here you can say it discussed the activities carried out by students, their basics and the practical reading and math abilities, and digital awareness and skills. So basically what they are doing is they are looking at the activities which are carried by the students. Second thing is their basics and the practical reading and the math abilities. So how they can perform simple mathematical calculations, etc. Other than that, digital awareness and the skills. So they are focusing on the skill and the quality of the education which they are getting. Okay. Now here you can see ASER is an annual largest citizen-led household survey conducted since 2005 by NGO Pratham. Now there are three information which is important, that it is annual report. Second thing is it is the citizen-led household survey. Okay, it is not from the government. It is a, you can say, citizen-centric approach which has been taken by the civil society only. Then moving further, third is started in 2005 by NGO, that is Pratham. Okay, so that is that is very important fact, that is NGO Pratham is basically conducting these surveys. Now what is the objective? Are children in the rural areas enrolled in the schools and are they learning? Okay, whether they are enrolled or not, and if they are enrolled, then they are learning better or not. Okay, so this is the objective. ASER survey provides for the estimate of the enrollment status of the children in the age group of 3 to 16 years. So one is enrollment status. Second is the basic literacy for the children in the age group of the 5 to 16 years at the national, state and the district level. So here they are talking about the enrollment ratio. Here they are talking about the abilities. Okay, basic literacy abilities. Now here you can see they have seen that the enrollment rates are 86.8% for the age group that is 14 to 18 years. Okay, here that is age group of 14 to 18 years. So enrollment ratio is somewhere around 86.8%. That is quite good. Now coming to the next part over here, 3.9% of those people who are enrolled, they are not further enrolled after 14 years old. Okay, so if there is a student who is 14 years old, there are only 3.9% chances that he will not be enrolled further. Here you will be seeing that 32.6% not enrolled after 18 years old. Okay, so this particular ratio is increased after 18 years old. Okay, then coming to the next part, 55.7% arts and humanity streams. Most of the students after 11th class, you will be seeing that they are going for the arts and not for the science or commerce related backgrounds. So mostly they will be going for the 55.7% in the arts. Now here you will be seeing that more boys are there in the STEM, that is you can say science, tech, engineering and mathematics related fields. So 36.3% are going over there. Only 28.1% girls are going into these STEM related you can say areas. Okay, then only 5.6% of the youth surveyed are undergoing vocational training or doing anything or any related courses. So basically they are saying that focus on the skill generation or the focus on the skill training, that is less, that is 5.6% of the youth which is surveyed. Okay, so these are some of the findings which are there from the Usher report. Again, I would say that enrollment ratio they are talking about. Second, they are talking about the ability to read or the basic mathematical calculations and the digital skills. Okay, so that is about Usher. Now coming to the next part here, World Employment and the Social Outlook Trends 2024. This is released by International Labour Organization, that is ILO. When we are talking about the employment related things at the world level, mostly you will be seeing that ILO is the body which is coming up with the reports. Now they have said that at the front of the unemployment and the job gaps, okay, job gaps, they are saying that the world over economies will do good, they will be improving the ratios. Okay, so they are saying that the unemployment will decrease and the job gap will also decrease. Okay, what is job gap? That is, there are certain people who want the job, and out of that when we are talking about the total unemployed people, okay, so let's say there are some 100 unemployed people. Okay, out of which there are only some people, let's say 60, they want the job. Okay, there are total 100 people, out of which 60 wants the job. Other than that, these unemployed people are there, they want to be at home and rest. Okay, for various reasons. Okay, so either they are taking a break from the, you can say, their work spare or any other reason, they are at home, but only 60 of them are there which wants the job. Okay, so the job gap here is 40. Okay, so that is basically your job gap. It is written, definition is also written, the number of unemployed individuals who are interested in finding a job. Okay, so basically out of those people who are interested in finding the job, that is basically job gap. Now coming to the next one, the global unemployment rates in 2023 are 5.1%, which is a slight improvement from the 2022 last year's comparison if we are looking at. So there is a slight improvement which is there. Right now the unemployment rate at the global level is 5.1%. Okay, now again what is important over here is that the trend that they are saying that the unemployment and the job gap will reduce. Second thing is the World Employment and the Social Outlook report is basically published by International Labour Organization. Now International Labour Organization, it was created in 1919 as part of the Treaty of Versailles that ended the World War I. So that treaty is important for you. Okay, now it becomes the specialized agency for United Nations in 1946. You can tell me in the comment box when United Nations was established. Okay, and with which treaty that was established. Now moving to the next one, there are total 187 member countries which were there. India is a founding member of this particular organization. Headquarter is there in Geneva, Switzerland. It is a tripartite organization belonging to governments, employers and the workers. So basically this is bridging a gap. This is bringing all these stakeholders together in this organization. So again you will be seeing that governments are also part of it, employers are also part of it, and the workers are also part of it. Okay, now moving further, Human Development Report 2023-24. This is the most important report. Okay, and it is being published by the United Nations Development Program. Okay, that is important since the year 1990s. Okay, Switzerland has got the first position. India is ranked at 134. Top 3 countries are Switzerland, Norway and Iceland. Somalia, South Sudan, Central African Republic, these are the last 3 countries, and countries not ranked in the index are North Korea and Monaco. Now what they are assessing, they are basically assessing the development. Okay, now when we are talking about the GDP is the indicator of growth. Okay, that is talking about the growth in the numbers. Now when we are talking about the development is the more inclusive phenomena, wherein you, along with the quantity, you will also be focusing on the quality as well. Okay, so here when we are talking about the development, quantity along with quality, that will be considered. Now when we are talking about the growth or GDP, only quantity will be considered. Okay, so that is what they are talking about in the human development report. So here we have seen that the top 3 countries are Switzerland, Norway and Iceland. Last 3 countries are Somalia, South Sudan and the Central African Republic. There are 2 countries which has not been ranked in this particular index, that is North Korea and Monaco. Okay, now when we are talking about the index and reports, mostly you will be seeing that through the reports, through these reports you will be getting indexes. Okay, so that is one thing which you can remember, through the medium of these reports you are getting indices. Now moving further, human development index, when we are talking about, so there are certain parameters they will be considering when they are talking about calculating the development. Okay, so or you can say looking at the developmental aspects. So there are 3 dimensions. One is long and healthy life, so they are focusing on the health over here. So life expectancy will be you can say considered over here, life expectancy at birth, that is important factor at birth. Then moving further, knowledge, so that is the second area after health, that is education. So here expected years of schooling, mean years of the schooling, these 2 things are they will be considering for the education related parameters. Now coming to the next one, a decent standard of living. This is the economical aspect of a family. So here they will be considering the gross national income per capita. Okay, so these are some of the indicators which are used for coming up with the human developmental index. Okay, now coming to the next one, World Happiness Report 2024. It is released by the United Nations Sustainable Development Solution Network. Okay, when we are talking about the concept was first you can say bought by Bhutan. Okay, and now we are having this World Happiness Report which is released by United Nations Sustainable Development Solution Network. Finland is the happiest country for the 7th consecutive year. Okay, so that is important factor which you can remember. Finland is the happiest country. India's ranking is 126 after out of 143 countries. So we can say that we are kind of sad souls. Okay, but when we are talking about the China is having 60th rank, Nepal is having 93rd rank, Pakistan is having 108th rank, Myanmar is having 118th rank, Sri Lanka is having 128th rank, Bangladesh is having 129th rank. Now I can say that there is some kind of fundamental, some structural issue is there with the report. Why? Because India is having a rank that is 126th. Okay, and Pakistan is having a report that is rank that is of 108th. Okay, they are saying that Pakistan is happier than India. I seriously doubt that. Okay, so I can say that there is some kind of issue with this particular report as well. Okay, now coming to the next one, Global Multidimensional Poverty Index 2023. So there is a key finding in this particular report that 1.1 billion people, that is 18% of the total population of the world, are living in acute multidimensional poverty. Acute multidimensional poverty means that very poor conditions they are living in. Okay, so across 110 countries. When we are talking about the poverty in India, here you will be seeing that India still has more than 230 million people living in poverty, that is around 18.7% of the India's population in this category. India is one of the 25 countries which has actually successfully halved the number of the poor. Okay, so within the last 15 years. Okay, so they are saying that India is showing some sign of success. That is, they are saying that there are 25 countries which has actually halved the number of poor in the country in the last 15 years. India is one among them. These countries are Cambodia, China, Congo, Honduras, Indonesia, Morocco, Serbia, Vietnam, etc. Okay. Now moving further, here you will be seeing that when we are talking about this particular index, it is released by the United Nations Development Program and the Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative, that is UNDP and OPHI. Okay, the index measures acute multidimensional poverty in over 100 developing countries. It was first launched in 2010. So that you can remember about this particular index. Now you will be seeing that this is kind of a factual you can say information, because obviously in the reports facts are also are the one thing which is discussed. Okay, so you have to focus on that and you have to remember all these things. Okay, but one important thing is there with respect to this particular episode. We have compiled all these things for you. Okay, so you can focus on this. Now moving further, It measures the interrelated deprivation, or you can say the relative deprivations with respect to the health, education and the living standards. Now they will be considering these three factors, on the basis of which they will be coming up with the index. Okay, so health, education and living standard. So they will be going for the 10 parameters. When we are talking about the world, this particular global multidimensional poverty index, so there are 10 indicators. Now when we are talking about the national multidimensional poverty index, which is released by Niti Aayog, so in that there are 12 indicators. So you will be seeing that there are 12 indicators which are over here. Okay, that is nutrition, child adolescent mortality, mental health. Now this mental health is the parameter which is attached by the Niti Aayog. This is found in India. Okay, other than that, in this when we are talking about the global multidimensional poverty index, you will not be finding mental health and the bank accounts. Now these two factors you will not be finding in the global report, but in India you will be finding these two, mental health and the bank accounts. Okay, so with the bank accounts they are trying to look at the financial inclusion, and with the mental health, maternal health, not mental health, maternal health. In the maternal health they will be focusing on the health of the mother. Okay, so that is important, you can say, parameter which is added by Niti Aayog. Okay, so in the area of health there is nutrition, child and adolescent mortality, maternal health. These are the three you can say indicators will be used. In the education, years of schooling and the school attendance, and standard of living, there will be some of these indicators, cooking fuel, sanitation, drinking water, housing, electricity, assets and the bank accounts for the financial inclusion. Okay, so this is about the multidimensional poverty index. We have talked about the 10 parameters with respect to the global index and 12 parameters with respect to the national multidimensional poverty index, which is released by Niti Aayog. Okay, now let's move further. State Startup Ranking 2022. Okay, Department for Promotion of Industry and the International Trade, that is DPIIT, under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, has been conducting the State Startup Ranking exercise since 2018. Since 2018 we are coming up with this particular ranking. Okay, Startup India initiative of the Government of India emphasized to boosting the, you can say, entrepreneurship and the, you can say, startups in India. Okay, so we are kind of boosting the startup ecosystem in India because we are focusing on the Make in India. Okay, so that is the reason we are kind of giving a boost to the startups. Now states and the union territories are divided into two categories for this particular report. One is category A, wherein the population is more than 1 crore. Then second is the category B, population is less than 1 crore. Okay, so here there are some of the best performers which are given in the category A, and similarly category B. So here you can see best performer in the category A, which is of the population more than 1 crore, and when we are talking about the category B, which is less than 1 crore. So best performer is Gujarat, Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. When we talk about the top performers, Maharashtra, Odisha, Punjab, Rajasthan, Telangana. Leaders are Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Aspiring leaders are Bihar and Haryana. Emerging startup ecosystem, Chhattisgarh, Delhi, Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, similarly in the category B we have the best performer, that is Himachal Pradesh. Okay, and top performer, that is Arunachal Pradesh and Meghalaya. Leaders are Goa, Manipur, Tripura. When we are talking about the aspiring leaders, that is Andaman and Nicobar, Nagaland. And emerging startup ecosystem, that is Chandigarh, Dadar and Nagar Haveli, Ladakh, Daman and Diu, Mizoram, Puducherry and Sikkim. Okay, you don't have to remember all of them. Okay, just know that these best performers are in the category A is Gujarat, Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, and best performer in the category B is Himachal Pradesh. Okay, if you can remember, that is well and good, but I'm sure that so much of name cannot be remembered. Other than that, there are certain you can say parameters which are considered for this particular report. So here you can say one is the roadmap to the sustainable future. So here we have attached the element of the sustainability. Then capacity building of the enablers, funding supports, incubation and the mentorship support, asset to the market, fostering innovation and entrepreneurship, and the institutional support. These are some of the parameters which has been considered on the basis of which these states has been ranked. Okay, now let's move further to the next one. Before that, you can say when we are talking about the Startup India initiative in India, so some of the initiative has been taken when we are talking about the funds of fund scheme. Okay, so there is a corpus of 10,000 crore which is been considered above the finance commission's contributions, and then there is this Startup India seed fund scheme, that is there the corpus of 945 crore has been sanctioned. So here both of them are here to give some kind of financial aid and assistance to the startups. Okay, moving further, Startup 20, when we are talking about the G20 summit which happened in India last year, So with respect to that, India was the having the chairmanship of the presidency of G20 summit. There they have come up with the idea of Startup 20. Now this is the third largest ecosystem in the world globally when we are talking about the startups. Okay, and it is kind of a think tank. Okay, so you can remember this term, that is Startup 20, which is attached with the G20. Now Startup India Investors Connect, so there is this single window kind of initiative which has been taken, wherein the single application pitching will be there. Single application pitching means that you will be applying at a one platform, okay, and at that particular platform there will be various, you can say, investors which are there. You will be considering one pitch, and that pitch will be same for all of them, okay, or you can say that you have to go for only one application, and then all these investors can go through that particular application. So this is kind of a matchmaking to connect the startup you can say enthusiast and the investors, okay. So that is there. Other than that, Startup India Innovation Week is there, National Startup Awards are there, Mark portal is there. So these are related to the startups in India. So that is about it. Now moving further, Global Hunger Index 2024. Now it is released by the concerned wildlife, and there is a German NGO, that is 𝐬𝐨𝐥𝐿𝐴. Okay, so please when we are talking about this particular name, if you are able to remember, that is good. Otherwise, know that this is a German NGO. Okay. The GHI is a tool designed to comprehensively measure and track the hunger at the global level. With the name, it is clear that it is tracking the hunger at the global, regional and the national levels. Okay. Now, what are the parameters? There are 4 parameters. One is undernourishment, that is the weightage of this is 1/3. Then child stunting, that is 1/6. Child wasting, that is 1/6, and child mortality, that is 1/3. Okay. Out of which they will be coming up with an index or the score, that is GHI score. Okay. On the basis of which the countries will be ranked. Now, if you look at the India's ranking, that is 105th out of 127. 105th out of 127. If we are talking about the first rank, there are 22 countries including China which are at the first rank. Okay, so 22 countries including China, UAE, Kuwait are ranked first. When we talk about Nepal, rank is 68, Sri Lanka is 56, Bangladesh 84, and Pakistan 109. Okay, that is about the Global Hunger Index report. Okay. Now moving further, here you will be seeing that India is under the serious category. Here India's GHI score is 27.3. Okay, at 27.3 we are having a serious category. Okay, when we are talking about the parameters, okay, we have 2.9% child mortality in India, we have 13.7% undernourishment in India, we have 35.5 stunted children in India, and 18.7 wasted children in India. Okay, so these are the parameters with respect to the Global Hunger Index. Now moving further, Corruption Perception Index. Now in this index, they have said that globally, overall, if you look at, there are very less or few initiatives which has been taken to reduce the corruption. Okay, it is released by the Transparency International. In this report, most countries have made little or no progress in addressing the public sector corruption. CPI scores 180 countries and the territories around the world to scale from 0 to 100. When we are talking about 0 to 100, that is the score. When we are talking about 0, that means that the country is highly corrupt. Okay, and when we are talking about 100, that means that corruption free country is there. Now when we are talking about the top 3, Denmark, Finland and New Zealand is the top in the top 3. Then low scorers, that is Somalia, Venezuela, Syria, South Sudan and Yemen. Okay, other than that, when we are talking about the performers, when we are talking about India's performance specifically, in 2022 we had a score that is 40 and rank was 85th, and in 2023 we had a score 39 and rank is 93. Okay, now when we are talking about the rank over here, so we will be seeing that we have not done very well with respect to the corruption. Okay, so Pakistan is ranked at 133 and Sri Lanka is ranked at 115. Okay, now coming to the next one, Air Quality Life Index AQLI 2024. This is released by the Energy Policy Institute, that is EPIC of the University of Chicago. Okay, now if you don't remember this particular name, that's fine, but if you can, that's well and good. Otherwise, please know that when we are talking about the Air Quality Life Index, that is talking about the air quality along with the life expectancy. Okay, and how will you decide the air quality? They will be using the particulate matter, that is PM. Okay, now in India they have said that 40% of the India's population is living in the environment with an air quality level above the annual PM limit, that is 40 microgram per cubic meter. Okay, so they are saying that PM 2.5 limit, when we are talking about the WHO, so what WHO is saying that there should be a limit, that is that should not exceed more than 5 microgram per meter cube. Okay, Now when we are talking about India, we are living in this 40 microgram per meter cube, okay, 40% of the population. So that is the level of, you can say, a pollution which is there in India. Now how life expectancy will be, you can say, impacted. So if high pollution is there, or you can say the content of PVM 2.5 is increasing, that means that the life expectancy is decreasing. Okay, so that is one of the things which has been discussed in this particular report. Okay, now let's move further. Henley Passport Index. Now when we are talking about the Henley Passport Index, that is related to the strength of the passport. Okay, so let's see. Compiled and published by the Global Citizenship and the Residency Consultancy firm, that is Henley and Partners. 199 passports and 227 destinations are basically indexed in this particular report on the basis of the access without a visa. Now what is the access without a visa or visa free entry? That means that if you are a citizen of a particular country and you are having a passport of, let's say, a particular country, let's say India, and you are going to a another destination, so how many destinations are there which are giving you a visa free entry? You don't require a visa. Okay, so that is what is being indexed in Henley Passport Index. Now if the number of countries is very high, that means that your passport's strength is very high. Now when we are talking about Singapore, you will be seeing that will have more than 192 countries which are giving the, you can say, a visa free entry, where if you are having a passport of Singapore, there are more than 192 countries which are there which will be allowing you without any visa. Okay, so we are saying that Singapore is having the strongest passport. Okay, so that is there. It does not consider the diplomatic travel, emergency or the temporary passport and the transit systems. Then average number of the visa-free destinations has nearly doubled since 2006. That is one fact which you can remember, or you can say there is a trend. What is a visa-free entry? That means that a citizen of a certain country can enter another country without a visa, without having to obtain a visa beforehand. Okay, so that is visa-free entry. Now if we are talking about the top 5 positions, so here you can say Singapore, that is the world's most powerful passport, and citizens are allowed entry to 195 countries. I told you more than 192 countries are there, so that is the exact number is 195. Okay, then coming to the next one, France, Germany, Italy, Japan and Spain, they are having access to more nearly 192 countries. Austria, Finland, Ireland, Luxembourg, Netherlands, South Korea and Sweden, they are having access to more than 191 countries. Okay, when we are talking about India's rank, that is 82, and the number of countries which you can say allow Indians visa free, that is 58. Okay, so that is about this particular report, that is Henley Passport Index 2024. Now coming to the next one, Global Energy Transition Index 2024. This is released by World Economic Forum, and it ranks the 120 countries based on the progress towards the sustainable, affordable and the secure energy future. Now they are talking about the energy transition, so obviously they will be talking about the sustainability, they will be talking about the transition towards the renewable energy. Okay, it measures countries' preparedness for the energy transition. The first rank is Sweden, India's rank is 63rd. Okay, now here you can see Sweden has the first rank, second is the Denmark, Finland is third, Switzerland is fourth, and France is you can say fifth. Now mostly these are the European countries. Okay, now moving further, Global Peace Index. So obviously with the peace, if we are talking about, so you can see that Institution of the Economics and the Peace, it is the body which is releasing this particular index. Okay, now the Global Peace Index has fallen by 0.56 in 2024, obviously because of the, you can say, various geopolitical scenario which are going through. We can see that this report has fallen by 0.56. okay, this is the 5th consecutive year when the peace has declined. Most peaceful area is basically your Iceland, and when we are talking about India's rank, that is 116th out of you can say the kind of countries which are basically mapped by this particular institution. Okay, and least peaceful is Yemen. Okay, so most peaceful is Iceland and the least is Yemen, and India is having a rank that is 116. Okay, now moving further, World Press Freedom Index. With the name, it is clear that it is talking about the freedom of speech. Okay, and with respect to the press. Now it is an annual report which is being released by the Reporters Without Borders. Now this is a global media watchdog, that is Reporters Without Borders, and they are releasing this you can say index, that is World Press Freedom Index. Okay, now it is a France based international NGO. Now when we are talking about the parameters on which they will be considering this particular mapping of these countries on this index, that is political context, legal framework, economic context, socio-cultural context and the security. Okay, rank is 159. India's rank is 159. Okay, other than that, here you will be seeing that Norway has ranked first, Denmark, Sweden, Netherlands, and the Finlands are top rankers in the list. Okay, and in this particular report, it is saying, it is been considered that the violence against the environmental journalist has been increasing. Okay. Now coming to the next one, International Intellectual Property Index 2024, released by the Global Innovation Policy Center GIPC of the US Chamber of Commerce. Basically, when we are talking about the intellectual property index, that means that how well you are actually protecting, or how well your policies are protecting the intellectual property. Okay. The index assesses the effectiveness of the intellectual property framework of the countries around the world. Index has evaluated 55 countries, out of which India's rank is 42nd. Top ranker is USA, second ranker is United Kingdom, and third is France. Okay. Moving further, Climate Change Performance Index. So the German Watch and the Climate Action Network, this is the body which is actually releasing the Climate Change Performance Index. Here one important factor is that the top 3 positions are vacant. After that, Denmark has performed well. Okay, India is the 7th ranker over here, so that is a good thing for India. But top 3 you can say positions are vacant. That means that no country has done well enough to be in the top 3 countries with respect to the climate change related performances. Okay, so that is about it. Moving further, Global Livability Index 2024, it is released by Economics Intelligence Unit, and it indexes the challenges faced by the individual's lifestyle. So they are accessing the lifestyle, okay, standard of living. So here they have said that despite the geopolitical scenario, geopolitical tensions, what they have seen that there is a slight increase in the, you can say, livelihood or the lifestyle of the people. Okay, it has seen a increase slightly despite the geopolitical conflict, civil unrest, and the housing crisis. Austria's capital Vienna tops the list, and when we are talking about India, India has no city in this particular list. Okay, so no Indian city included in 2024 list of the top 10 livable cities. Now moving further, AI Readiness Index with respect to the policy framework or the policy making with respect to AI. So they have come up with the index, that is AI Readiness Index 2024. It is released by the International Monetary Fund. Okay, the reports which are given by the International Monetary Funds are quite important. Okay, now here you can see it indexes or the traces the economies globally for the AI readiness. India's rank is 72nd out of 174 economies. Singapore, Denmark, and United States are the having the highest ratings. India's performance is relatively strong among the emerging markets. When we are talking about the emerging markets economies like South Asian economies and the China, etc. So we are having a relatively good position. Okay. Now when we are talking about the indicators on which they will be evaluating, so that is regulation, or the, you can say, when we are talking about the AI, how many laws are there which are regulating the AI, use of AI, integration, innovation, labor policies, human capital, and digital infrastructure. Okay, so these are the parameters on which they will be making this particular index. Now moving further, Global Gender Gap Index 2024, World Economic Forum is releasing this particular, you can say, report. It was introduced first in 2006. When we are talking about the most gender equal country, that is basically Iceland. When we are talking about the most gender equal country, that is Iceland. Okay, and this has been the one for 15 consecutive years. Okay, from the last 15 years that is there. Okay, now if we are talking about the top 5 rankers, Finland, Norway, New Zealand, and the Sweden are there, because one is Iceland, then Finland, Norway, New Zealand, and Sweden. Then India's ranking is 129 out of 146 countries. Okay, so that is about your Global Gender Gap Index. Okay, here you can see these are the key dimensions on which they are assessing. So one is health and survival, educational achievements, political representation, and the economic participation and the opportunity which are provided to the women. Now moving further, Global Innovation Index 2024, published by the World Intellectual Property Organization, that is WIPO. In 2024, India has ranked 39th among the 133 countries. GII was launched in 2007 by the INSEAD and World Business. A special theme in 2024 was unlocking the promise of social entrepreneurship. Okay, they are talking about the social entrepreneurship. Now it is your job to tell me that what is this concept of social entrepreneurship in the comment box. Okay, source of data is basically from the International Telecommunication Union, World Bank, and the World Economic Forum. Now when we are talking about the India's performance, we have already seen that India is ranked at 39 position, and through the initiatives such as the Startup India, Digital India, Atal Innovation Mission, Government of India has consistently promoted entrepreneurship, research and the technological advancement. So this is about this particular report. Now, if we are talking about the important, reports and indices, we have covered most of them from this particular year, but there are some of the, you can say, reports wherein the publisher or the body which is basically releasing the index, that becomes important. So I have given a list over here. So there are 10 over here, and you can say 10 or 11 other you can say reports are there. So you can actually take a screenshot of it, or you can say when you are getting the PDF, then you can have it. Okay, so this is about today's discussion with respect to reports and indices. I hope that is clear. Now with that, there will be one question which will be pinned in your comment box, so you can attempt that question and answer to me in the comment box. Okay, with that, I would like to take your leave. If you have not watched the other videos, you can go and watch them in the playlist which is there in the Drishti IAS English YouTube channel. Okay, have a nice day. Thank you, and please subscribe the channel.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.